everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and this is the 16th episode in the How to Garden series. Now that everything's planted and everything's growing, the first thing in the garden that is ready to harvest this year is the kale. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna open up this particular row right here, and we are going to harvest some kale for supper tonight for a wonderful salad. We're gonna mix some fresh kale, some raisins, some sunflower seeds, just a really simple yummy salad with our homemade sausage. And if it's Friday tonight, so it's noodle night, so we're gonna add that to our a side dish to our pasta. So we're gonna do that. Then tomorrow we're gonna take down the rest of the kale, and Ocean here is going to show you how to make kale chips. A real simple way, but a totally different way in how to utilize kale. And if you aren't a big fan of kale chips are really good, and you can flavor it in so many different ways. So we're gonna do that. Are you ready for that tomorrow? Yep. And show you a couple ways on how to use kale. But first, you need to know how to harvest it. So let's go ahead here, Ocean. So what I want to do is just open this up a bit. Let's see here. We don't need that much. So
can I have my side so I can help? There.
Yeah. So let's open this up. So the nice thing is we can open up a corner of it and open that up a little bit more on that side. You might have to take the boards off there, Ocean,
like
please.
That?
Yeah.
Look at how big those are.
Yeah, they are. So let me get a close up here, Ocean. So this is just beautiful. There's a lot of different kind of kale. So if your kale is more curly or looks a little different, there is so many different varieties, but the same procedure works for whatever kale you do have. So if you take a look at the plants, the kale new growth is in the center here. Okay?
Yep.
So Ocean, what I want you to do, just for the sake of demonstration, I want you to just kind of separate the plant like this, and I'm going to zoom into the middle there, okay? Okay, so as you can see, right there is the middle of the kale. There's little leaves coming there. You want to show the motion. Just move your hand over a bit. Okay, right in the middle there. We don't want to harvest those leaves at all. What we want to do is take the outer leaves off, leaving that center. Okay, Ocean? So you want to you can utilize
I do this part?
Yeah, do that part. You can utilize a scissor, which I really like to use. You can also use a knife. Yeah, and get that one. So they're looking like this. They're looking like this here. Beautiful, beautiful kale. This is going to be one delicious supper.
Yeah. I couldn't wait for them to get big enough because I love kale.
Yep.
And they're finally big.
Okay, so now we got just a little plant right here. And as we do a couple, I'll get a close up here so it's easy to see. So as Ocean is cutting them down for supper, I'm just going to, since I only brought one scissor out, I'm just going to remove some weeds that I see, which aren't a lot because the kale is shading. Now, it is really hot outside right now. I mean, we're 25 degrees Celsius. I'm sweating as I am sitting here in the sun, and so is Ocean.
Yep.
And when I put my hand underneath here, feel that. Cool. It is definitely a lot cooler. And if I take the same hand and I put it on the ground somewhere else,
hot.
It is hot. So we have definitely a temperature change underneath here. Now it is definitely cooler, and I can drastically feel the difference.
Me too.
So I'm pretty sure my theory is that these here, I mean, these are cold or cool loving crops. It is sweating hot. And a lot of times with these kind of crops, they kind of almost droop their leaves when it's this hot. especially with this extreme heat. But underneath here, it's really cool. Like the ground itself is not hot, like it is just a foot away from it. So how cool is that?
That's really cool.
So what I'm gonna do, Ocean, is as you clip, now let's just clip this little square right here. So you finish that. I'm going to just put my hand over on that other test row. I want to feel the difference in soil.
Okay.
So this is the other one, and this soil, there is definitely a completely different temperature. This is way hotter, way hotter. I mean, I don't even need a thermometer to realize that. This soil is warm, and these are growing, but they're not growing as fast as they are underneath those tunnels. And I'm pretty, and yes, it is warm. Yes, they need heat, but they like heat, but not overly hot. So that is really cool. Okay, I'm digging my fingers in, and it is warm. Like the ground is warm here. All right, let me dig my fingers in over the other side. Okay, Osha, I'm gonna dig my fingers in, and it is definitely cooler. The ground itself, even a centimeter in, is cooler than even over there. So that's really cool. I think that is playing a huge part in it. And I mean, it is hot. Like the ground is warmed right up. So that's kind of cool. Just those simple observations as a gardener, it's just really neat. So that's good enough for supper, Ocean. What we're gonna do is we're gonna close this back up, and then we will be watering everything here tonight. So I want you to really tighten, you know, move that and really snug things up again. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this simple design with them from Amazon. So move your knee there. Kind of pull it out like this, Ocean.
Okay.
It's simple to use, simple to maintain, and just the addition of these rocks was really good there to keep the cats out, because I did have a problem with the cats. But other than that, we're just going to close this up and enjoy our kale. So we're in the house now, and Ocean's gonna dump the kale into the sink. And she's gonna run cold water over it. I'm gonna kind of rinse each leaf off really quickly. Okay, so what Ocean is doing is taking the leaves off the kind of, it can be a woody stem or a thicker stem. And what I like to do is just grab the leaf here. You can see the stem here. And what you can do is take both fingers and just slide it, and you have it off. So let me do that again on a bigger one. Thank you, Ocean.
You're welcome.
Is you take your finger and you simply can run it through. That one kind of broke just when I want to give an example, or you can kind of just break it off. The biggest part is that you're getting this heavy stem off, because it's not very nice for eating. It tastes okay, like you can eat it. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. I just don't prefer it. So as she does that, I'm gonna make a very simple vinaigrette. So the simple vinaigrette with this is just, okay, so I'm gonna make just a very simple vinaigrette. We're gonna do about 1 tablespoon of hemp oil. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of water in it. I'm gonna put in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to put in a dash Oh, about a teaspoon of sugar, just a little bit here of sugar into it, and that is your very basic vinaigrette. Very simple. You can do this for any salad. Now obviously the bigger the salad, double the recipe. I'm just going to whisk that up here. Now this is totally up to you. There are so many versions of salad dressings. Really, you can make this whatever, but I think a little ginger. Make this a little bit more with ginger. Will taste really good with kale. And so that's really simple to do. So I'm just gonna go get the salt, get the pepper, get some spices here while you watch Ocean continue working on the salad. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of basil. I'm adding about a teaspoon of basil, dried, a little bit of garlic powder, about a half a teaspoon, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of shot of ginger, about a half a teaspoon, and then some salt and pepper to taste. That is how simple this is. Okay, and then I'm just gonna whisk this up, and we have the salad dressing all ready to go, right?
Yep.
And so with this salad, Ocean, I'm gonna just spill in, we're doing 2 cups of sunflower seeds on top of it. We're going to make it have a little bit of a sweetness to it with some wonderful raisins. And then basically when she's done here, we're going to pour over the salad dressing, and salad is done for tonight. Okay, Ocean is all done here, so I'm just going to pour over the salad dressing. Just like that. She's going to mix it in. Now with kale, if you pour the salad dressing over the kale, let's say 30 minutes before supper, it actually will taste better. Kale doesn't go soggy, let's say like a romaine lettuce would. So it kind of acts more like a cabbage in that kind of respect. And so I always add it about 25 minutes before I am going to have supper, and so this is what it's going to look like on the plate. Really yummy and delicious, real flavorful, simple, but a real good side dish to our pasta and sausage tonight. So thank you so much for making that, Ocean.
You're welcome.
And we will see you in the kitchen tomorrow again as we make kale chips.
So now it's time to make kale chips. And the first thing we need to know is, how do you do it? So one of the first things is you put your oven on the lowest setting so you don't like overcook the kale or something. And the kale can take from 1.5 hours to 2 hours to bake, depending on the type of kale, how big your kale is, that sort of stuff. Another thing is we're going to be cooking them in the oven, because when you put them in the dehydrator, they don't get as crisp. Where like in the oven, they get a lot crisper, which is what we want. The other thing is how to prepare it. So we have a bowl of harvested kale. We washed and cleaned it just like you saw when we made the salad. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the leaves here, and I'm just gonna strip the leaf off and put the spine in a compost bowl. This morning we harvested the entire row because it was so big. There were some very enormous plants in there. They were like so tall, like there's an enormous leaf there. That's huge. I'm just gonna break them up here into nice pieces. Now you can make them as big as you want or as small as you want for the chips. And then we'll flavor them after with spices or something, or salt and plain salt or whatever, what we like, and then we'll have some good old kale chips making. So now is the fun part. We're going to put half the kale into this second popcorn bowl here. So we're going to season 1/2 with coconut oil and salt, and then we're going to season the other half with paprika and salt. And we're going to put coconut oil in both of them. So you can use virgin olive oil, but hemp oil is not a good choice because we're putting it in the oven. So we're just gonna put a light sprinkling of salt on one, like you would do popcorn. And then we're going to get our scooper and mix it up a bit. And then we're gonna put half of this melted coconut oil in. Then now we're gonna mix everything up. This is starting to smell good. Thank you, Mom. I can smell the scent of kale and coconut oil and salt all mingling. It smells good. So now we're going to move on to the paprika one. So we're just going to put that out of the way for a moment. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a sprinkling of salt over. And then for paprika, we're just going to shake some on. It's a nice dusting to taste. You can make it spicy or not as spicy. It's up to you, but we prefer it like this. Then we're going to dump the rest of the coconut oil on and mix it up again. Thank you, Mom. I cannot wait for these to be done. I love kale chips. Especially when they're oven baked, they're the best. They're so crunchy and crisp and delicious. Yeah, I love them. Especially the spicy ones. They're really good. But some in our family don't like spice as much, and we make it so everyone has something. And so there's lots of different flavors, different seasoning. It's really yummy. That's looking good. So now that they're both mixed up really thoroughly with paprika and coconut oils and salts and stuff, we're going to put this batch onto our cookie sheet. So we're going to grab our cookie sheet here, and we're just using simple metal ones. I'm just going to put this half in. It's okay if it overlaps, because when it bakes, it'll shrink a little too. Because when you cook stuff like lettuce and kale and stuff, it really shrinks. Like, they will go really much smaller. So there we have it. Number 1 done. So now I'm just going to go and get the salt one. Or Mommy will give it to me since she's sort of passing me things and stuff. Having fun here together. Oops, I already mixed it. I don't know why I was doing that. I need to put it on the pan, not mix it. I don't think I divided this very evenly. There's a lot more salt stuff than spice stuff. Okay, so now that all the kale's on these cookie sheets, we're just going to move this bowl into the other one. So now that the kale is on the cookie sheets, we're going to put our oven at its lowest setting to get it ready for cooking these. So our lowest setting is 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're just going to preheat that for a couple minutes, and then we'll slip the kale in for 1.5 to 2 hours. Another thing is, because these are taller, because we got a lot of kale on each pan, At the hour-and-a-half mark, we're actually going to open the oven and mix them up so it all cooks evenly and not just the sides burn and the insides are nice and crisp. So that everything works, but otherwise it'll be cooked and yummy in an hour-and-a-half to 2 hours.
Ocean had to go to piano class, so I'm going to finish up for her. So let's check it out. It's an hour-and-a-half later. Let's see how they look. Okay, so you can see how much they collapsed. And so what I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to loosen it up so that it can crisp up now, because they're kind of soft, a little bit on the mushy side, and I'm just going to give them now some more airspace to crisp. And that's what we want, is crisp chips. And so you can see how that really changed its look. It's just loosening it up. There's a lot of moisture in the kale and you're slowly dehydrating it. Now it's time to crisp it. So I'm just gonna move this one out of the way. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Now the color to these ones look a little different that she did the paprika on. Kind of made it a little bit yellowy, lighter green because of the spice. So again, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to scrape it, and then I'm just going to loosen it, leaving air to get through, and therefore the drying to happen faster. Now the drying is going to happen quite a bit faster, and you can see how much this has reduced. So I'm just going to spread this out. Ocean's really excited as this is her first piano lesson, and so she really has taken to the piano, and so I'm quite excited for this new adventure for her. So that looks really, really good. And again, we're just going to put it in the oven. These are taking a little bit longer, but I think we're going to be at least another hour before these are done. So let's give them an hour and then we'll check.
I just got back from piano lessons and the kale chips are done. Oh, those look wonderful. So look at these kale chips. They're crispy, they're cooked, and they look awesome. So once these are 100% cooled, we'll take them up and we'll store them in an airtight container, and they'll be delicious for snacks or meals or whatever for later on. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.